there, welcome back to my channel, Uniquely Reagan Handcrafted Cards. Today I'm going to use some scrap paper that I had in my stash. Some of it came from a paper pad that I got at a thrift shop called Switchboard by Pink Paisley. And this is a 2014 paper pad, Switchboard. And it had 48 sheets. I've used a couple sheets out of the pad, and some of the papers also came from another pad that I had used up, and it's just the remnants. So I had made a couple of folios and some photo albums, and I merged what was left over in with this photo album, this paper pad I should say, because the color schemes are pretty similar. So I have a bunch of papers that will work great with fall themed cards. And so this is what they look like, the majority of them here. So you can see there's a great variety, got some florals and some plaids and ginghams, got some butterflies and some polka dots. There's a ledger paper. We've got some swirls and hearts. And there's a wood grain pattern, and there's some larger sheets. So what I'm going to do here is make the Sheetload of Cards for September 2025, but I'm going to use the individual dimension layouts in order to make my cards, because I have all these little bits and pieces. And also these strips here measure almost or just over 2 3/4. And so I can get quite a few cards just from these strips and the scraps here. And so I'm going to use the larger pieces of paper as my background layer on the card base here from Call Me Crafty Out's Sheetload of Cards, September 2025. So I'm going to get everything cut, and then I'll show you a few how I'm doing it, and then I'll come back to you at the end and show you everything I made and how many cards I was able to get from all of these scraps. So stick with me and I'll come back to you shortly. September 2025 Sheetload of Cards from Call Me Crafty Owl, and I have reduced my pile of scraps from the several, one almost full sheet, a couple of large scraps, and then I had a huge pile of small scraps, and these are the pieces that I have left, and not really enough to do anything with this sketch with. These are what's left from the offcuts of what I did work with after putting small pieces of paper inside each of the cards. So I can use these scraps to make other little scrappy cards. I'm not going to toss these away. I will put them with the other little scraps that I have left over from my other projects with this kit. I did reduce the number of scraps that I have left with this paper pad by quite a lot. And let me show you what I made. I got 24 cards with this September 2025 Sheetload of Cards sketches using the individual measurements that Call Me Crafty Owl provides in the printable. So I will link in the description box below, I will link the link to the printable if you want to go find it. I had planned on maybe just making card fronts and then coming back with sentiments later, but I got in a groove and went ahead and knocked them all out. And I found I had some items already die cut in one of my Stamps of Life pockets. I also had a bunch of sentiments and images clusters that I had previously done for some wedding projects in a little tray just off to my right here on my desk. So I pulled some of those out, just like this one here. And this is an image that I had already stamped and colored, and I had in a little tray. So there's 6 of those cards. Then I pulled out a little stamp set from Stamps of Life that has a postage stamp. And then I had already die cut these for my class. I had die cut these for a card making class previously, and so I went ahead and used them up. I had 5 or 6 of these, and I had some die cut images in my fall themed bin. And then for these other sentiments, I just went in the acrylic tray organizer that I keep in front of me and just started looking to see which sentiments I could use that would match the paper, the colors, and the size of stamp that I needed, the sentiment that I needed. And I also went back to my fall themed project bin and pulled out some additional images. Like these 2 had come from a paper pad that I was working with a couple weeks ago. Here's another one of those flower cards. You are one of a kind. You're a fabulous friend. This, hello, it was on tone, so I went through with my fine tip black marker and just put some stitch lines on it just to make it pop a little bit. I think that turned out nice. There's another one of those postage stamps. So I got quite a few number of cards here. These are some little washi stickers. You've been on my mind. I got that and the Feel Better Soon out of my acrylic tray here with the pre-printed, pre-stamped sentiments. And the same here on, this came out of my tray for my wedding themed items. So yeah, 24 cards from that Sheetload of Card individual card dimensions, and I have reduced my card scraps by quite a lot. This is what I have left over. What I showed you, plus a few more that I had pulled aside already because that was not going to work on some cards. And others that I already knew, like this stack here, were already going to be too small for the dimensions of the cards. So I got a nice little haul of cards. And if I wanted to set some of these together and make a little, the ones that are matching, these all have butterflies on them. So I could make a little card set package and maybe do 6 in a package or do 5 in a package. The ones that have the buffalo check, and so I have those. Let's see, those all have buffalo check on them. There's 5 of those. So I could just mix and match and make some, I could package them individually, or I could make card sets. How would you do it? What would you suggest? Let me know in the comments what you would do. Would you do singles or do some card sets? I'm leaning towards some card sets. I don't have any of those kind of things in my booth, and maybe card sets would be a nice selling point for my farmer's market booth. Well, I appreciate you stopping in today and watching my little creation of these scrappy cards using the Sheetload of Cards from Call Me Crafty Elf for September 2025. I had a really fun time putting these together and have a nice little haul of cards. So come back and see me the next time I have a crafty video. I'm going to link another video at the end of this one that you may enjoy. Have a great day. Bye.